In 2009, 25-year-old Larry Mario Moncada graduated from college and moved back in with his parents in Iowa. But everything in Larry and his family's life would get turned completely upside down in November of 2009. On November 26th, while a blizzard raged outside, Larry and his family celebrated Thanksgiving inside. After everyone was done eating, Larry told them that he actually had an overnight shift at the supermarket, and Larry walks outside and goes to work. The next morning, when he came back from that shift, his mother would say something seemed off about him. He was very disoriented, he didn't really know where he was, and this is when it dawned on her that he could be having an anxiety attack. So she brings him to the doctor, and the doctor quickly prescribes Larry an antidepressant. But the medication didn't seem to be doing anything, because over the course of the day, Larry got progressively more and more stressed out and more confused seeming, and eventually he told his mom that he was hearing voices in his head that were telling him his heart is beating too quickly and he needs to eat sugar to slow down his heart. But the next morning when Larry got up, he was just as bad as the night before, except now he was having these vivid hallucinations. He said there were people in the house that were looking for him, and so he spent the day running around the house hiding from people in the house that were not actually there. Then finally that night, Larry just kind of loses it and begins screaming at his parents and berating them before suddenly running out the front door without shoes, without a jacket, and he just runs directly into the blizzard and disappears. So immediately they call the police. The police go out looking for Larry, and they're asking people in town if they've seen him, and no one's seen Larry. And unfortunately, because it had snowed so much the night before, any of Larry's tracks leading out of Larry's house were now covered over. And so after a couple of days of this, when there's just no sign of this guy, the police say to the family, look, there's not much we can do. We're just gonna have to wait to see if he turns up. 10 years later, the No Frills supermarket where Larry used to work was out of business, and it was about to get torn down, and some contractors were sent in to start ripping down the shelving. And when they went into the back and began pulling away those huge freezers that keep your milk and your dairy products in, Larry's body comes tumbling out. It had been pinned in this tiny 18-inch wide space between the back of the freezer and the wall. It's believed on the night Larry ran out of his parents' house barefoot into a blizzard, he ran right up the road and went to the No Frills supermarket. Now, it was closed at the time, but he had access to the back door with the key code because he worked there. And so he went inside and he climbed on top of the section of the freezers that jut back into the space that no one in the store can see. And when he got up there, he must have somehow tripped and fallen into the tiny 18-inch space between the freezer and the wall. Investigators believe there's no way he actually got hurt when he fell into this little space. Problem was, these huge fans that run constantly to keep the freezer cold were unbelievably loud and would have completely drowned out his cries for help. And so no one knows for sure how long this took, but eventually he would die because no one heard him.